Moi, du coup, je vois que les commentaires d'Elfie pour l'instant. Et le tien. Ça marche. Très bien, très bien. Ouais. Lequel, le Hello? Ok. Ça marche.
Switching. All right. Hello everybody. And yeah, tonight or this evening, as you want, I am with Mr. Cold. Hello. So first of all, maybe how are you? That's yeah. I'm okay. And second, in the chat, can you tell me if the balance is good or not? If you hear Mr. Cold about at the same level as me, yeah, you're VIP or not. I can't hear him. Okay. Is he speaking? Yes, he is. Okay, so it should be. It may be a problem if you don't hear him at all. Maybe I can just lower I think I hear a voice like he talk from Australia. Okay. All right. So, what can I do to balance the sound better? You're already at 200%. Maybe I can lower me again, but it won't do any good. In English, yes, it is. Yes, it is. But if you can't hear cold, it's not really useful. Maybe I will just switch the sound. What can I try? Yeah, I will try that. I'll try to switch your voice on my... okay, let's do that. Yeah, try talking again.
So
Is it better? Oh, okay. I will
just... Is it better now? Doesn't seem so.
Is it better? Do you hear
Yes.
him right now?
Yeah.
You can hear?
Great.
And if I do that, do you hear him still? Or
Okay.
is it
Can you hear me better now?
still okay? Try talking a bit, Cold.
Yep. Just try to
Oh,
talk.
but I can't.
See if they can
Yeah,
hear
it's
me.
a problem. Yeah, you hear
Okay.
him, but I don't. Okay.
It's all right.
What can I
Okay.
do? Maybe just. I need to hear you as well. Okay, and how can I do that? Maybe I can just. Maybe I can just. Maybe I can just do that. Okay, we'll try again. So,
Okay, let's try it.
I hear you. Do you hear him when from my mic when he speaks or not?
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
just
Yeah,
in a-
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Can the chat hear me now?
I don't know. Perfect. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, it's cool. So we'll go like that. No headphones. Probably no music either. I can, yeah. Yeah, let's say no music. Or I will maybe I can switch. Yeah. Let's skip the music for this one. Okay. So the topic of this evening is balancing the game. So the many tools you can use to do that. And first of all, I wanted you to present yourself, to say what
So,
you do in
For
in
those
Urban.
who don't know me, I'm Mr. Codes, and I work for Urban Rivals as a freelance game designer. And my job in Urban Rivals is to balance the game, basically, using all the tools we are going to present you tonight. And I'll just let you start with the first subject, maybe.
We'll just probably quickly introduce all the tools, and we'll go on the detail right after. I don't know what order we should take it, but the tools are the statistics you get from the game. The semi-evolutions or the ultra evolutions, as we maybe can call it for now. Of course, the votes of the players in just for Elo mode. The new bloods, of course. which are probably pretty important. Maybe I put an entry for player commentaries. I don't know if you can
I think
get that.
it's interesting to talk about it.
And maybe top decks if you catch it, if you try to
Sure.
to follow the trends, the more used or something like that. And I thought about it just today actually. But of course the creation or the use of new abilities, new bonuses, new which can of course have a great effect too on the game. So I don't know which one you want to start with. Maybe the statistics, because I think it's
sure,
probably
I can start with the stats. So the stats mostly consist of win rate and play rate. Play rate is the usage of a character. So the more a character is played, the more his play rate is high. And win rate is the percentage of matches won with that specific character. It doesn't have anything to do with the round win. So, for example, a powerful character is a character that allows you to win the game, not the particular round of that character. So we have these two stats in live. So I can check the stats in the middle of the EFC season, for example, and just see that some characters are played more than others. And I use these stats to see what characters should be banned in EFC, what clans should be reinforced in Tourney or in Survivor, for example. And it's also useful to check if, so for example, you have some players complaining about a new card or a very powerful card. I can check the stats very quickly to see if they are right or not. But the stats are mostly a tool to validate things. They are not more important than the opinions of the players. For example, it's like maybe 30 to 40% of the decisions I make are based on the stats. So the stats can tell you a lot of things, but you also have the psychology of the players that are important in the stats. For example, you see characters that are complicated to difficult to play with. They get lower win rates when actually they're really powerful. So you can't really comprehend the entire situation with the stats, but they are very useful anyway. And we try to we'll try in the future to communicate more of the stats to the players using
it could be interesting.
A tool which is called AutoDeck, and the AutoDeck currently is unusable. It gives you random cards, and you can't really build a good deck with it. But in the future, we're going to incorporate the characters with the highest win rates, so that the new players can build a deck more easily.
Can try a good deck.
I don't know
with this. Okay. So do you get the stats? So what is the actual? Did you have what form does it take for you? And do you use the stats for every mod? Do you get it for every mod? Do you get it from for Survival, for EFC?
I get it live for EFC, and for the other mods, it's weekly only.
Okay.
So I get it as a form of a mail sent to me every Monday. And in this mail, there's a recap of all the matches played in the previous week. So it's like, I don't know if you've played Pokemon Showdown, but it's exactly the same when you check the stats of Pokemon Showdown. and the tiers, you see exactly the same thing I see. But for EFC, it's different. I can see the stats live. So that means in the middle of a week or before a new bod release, I can check what clan should
yeah.
reinforce, for example.
And yeah, and a question from the chat saying if we can see the tool or how it works, but for the statistics, I think you just answered.
There's
It's just,
nothing particularly interesting to see. Yeah, it's just a list of the different characters played and the won and the lost with these characters.
Yeah, okay.
So-
For every character. So yeah, it's like
Yes.
a huge list.
It's a very huge list, so it's a very long page, and you see everything, but it's not particularly visually appealing, but it's very
I
useful.
guess so. Yeah. Okay. All right. I will maybe if you have some question for statistics in the chat, you can ask. You can write it, and we can get back to it later if it's necessary. But yeah, of course, statistics are just an important tool to get, because you can of course see what's going on in the game, and what are the clans and the characters that are dominant in a season or in a week.
Absolutely.
What type of statistics makes you to feel a card too strong? Yeah, it is interesting.
Very good question. Very good question. I think the win rate alone is not enough to see. Of course, if a card has, like you say, 55% of win rate, it's a lot. But the real red flag you see when a card should be banned is that it polarizes the meta. You know,
yeah, okay.
every other card is played to counter this specific card. So this is not a good thing, because we want diversity in the decks. We want less hard counters, so cards that basically can kill you too easily. But we'll see later when we'll talk about the votes. Actually, the cards that are put into the votes are the cards with the highest win rates and play rates. So this is already incorporated in the system, so you can only vote for cards that are really strong in terms of stats. But this is not as important as the players' reviews and we need to look at every clan and why is this clan played, and why does this card have enough counters. This is more important than the stats, the raw stats.
Yeah, okay. Maybe we can, of course, switch to player votes in EFC, because it's an important tool for the game, because EFC, of course, is competitive.
So
Urban.
in EFC we have a two-way system for the bans. You have the player bans, which are temporary, and the perma bans, which are usually last longer.
Yeah.
But so you can vote every week for cards to add them to the temporary ban lists. And the cards you can vote for are the cards that were the most played in the previous week, those who won the most in the previous week, and those who were banned in the previous week.
Yeah, okay.
So you can see a list in the vote section, which is around 30 characters usually. So you have a character for every clan, or almost every clan. So if you think a clan is too powerful, you can nerf it this way. And this way it creates a really fun rotation between the clans, because this way you don't have the same clans in the top of the rankings every week. And it's very important because the perfect format doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You always have top clans and bottom clans, even in the WoP formats, in the rated formats, for example, you have clans that are better than the others. So this way, with the player bans, we can limit that thing, and we can use this to create more diversity.
Yeah,
And
of
it's
course.
also a very good indicator to which cards should be permabanned. If a card is weekly banned repeatedly, it's a really good sign that this card should be banned definitively.
Plus it if you ban this card, it stops the focus of bans of the players, and maybe they can vote for something else.
Exactly. Some bans are also made to for the players to have more options on the weekly bans. This way, it's one card removed of the list, and you can focus on other cards.
So you can,
I just want to specify that only the players who ended in that palace,
of course,
the previous week, can vote.
That.
This way, you don't have players that vote for the cards they own for business purposes. This way, only the players who know the meta can vote for.
Yeah. And it's about 200 players, maybe something like that, who can vote.
Yes, 100 to 200 players, and usually at least half of them vote.
Okay,
so it's not so bad compared to the previous system, where I think only a third of the players who voted. It's way better.
Yeah, and of course, we didn't say that, but you can vote to ban a card, but you can vote to keep a card.
To keep it also. Too. Yeah, and that's very important because contrary to the previous system, in this system, the keep a card is way more powerful, because when you vote to keep a card, a vote to ban the card is removed. So I don't know if that makes sense, but you can save a character more easily than before.
Yeah, it consoles totally.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's good to know too.
So Alfie is asking if I'm satisfied with the players' bans. Sometimes I think they are stupid. Yes. Sometimes yes. I mean, I think Natasha was banned 3 times in a row just because people wanted to troll. It was not very useful, but 90% of the votes are really are not stupid at all. Okay. But sometimes, it happens that a card is banned for basically no reason.
You but always it's have a handful of people with.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
Lichx. Yeah, Sacroma are not easy to pronounce.
Yeah.
Lich band, of course. But and what's I actually finished in the palace sometimes in the last seasons, so I had the chance to vote for the bans and keep, and I wonder how works the list in itself, because you see which cards are on the top or which are on the lower of the screen. Because maybe it can actually influence.
Yes.
If you see some cards
on the top are the cards which received the most votes, votes to keep or to ban. All of them. And the cards at the bottom are those who didn't receive any votes at all. So, for example, for this week, we have cards like Redra, Flanagan, which didn't have any votes on them, and cards like Shredder or Lamar, which had a lot.
Okay.
So they appear on top just to, because otherwise, if they would appear alphabetically, for example, you would have all the votes on a lot of different characters. So it's best to keep only the characters which are really problematic and put
Okay.
them on
Yeah,
top.
so tendencies are represented in the order of.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
exactly. Yeah.
That's what I wondered last time I voted, and I know. Are there any other question for the votes of players? Of course, we still can return to that later if needed. But yeah, you said one of the important thing you use is players' commentaries or players' opinions
Yeah.
on cards. So
Yes.
where do you get that from, and how do you use it?
Where do I get that from? I read the forum a lot.
Yeah.
In every languages. I read all of the commentaries. I can't answer to them right away because it would lead to useless debates. So
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want that. I just want to know what they think. And also, a lot of players are actually sending me, messaging me to tell me this card is too strong, you should ban it. So I'm always considering their opinion in every mode. Or this clan is too weak. We need another card for this. I'm always considering it, and based on these opinions, I just try to see if they're right or not. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're not, and I try to play the cards that are too strong in their opinions. I try to play the clans that are too weak also. I check the stats for everything, and after that, when I've decided, I just ban or not. But I try to not have an opinion at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
You
I
just
used to have an opinion. For example, I prefer formats like Survivor T1,
okay. Yeah.
formats that are very full of random cards, full of possibilities in the deck building. But I know this is not the case for everyone, so my opinion in the end is irrelevant because I don't do EFC for myself. I do it for the players who play
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
it every day. So I just try to check if they're right, and I ban. The reason why I usually it takes a lot of time to ban a card because I want to be 100% sure it's the right choice. Because unbanning a card and banning it after it repeatedly is very frustrating for the players, especially the new players which don't really want to check the formats every time. So I try when I do choices like this, I want to be sure.
Yeah. Of
That's
course.
why I'm not. I'm considering every opinion, but I'm not acting on it the day after that. So
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, it may take time to test to see if other players
yeah,
have the same opinion, to see if it's a thing or not in the stats. Of course,
absolutely.
it's an everyday job. So yeah, for the player commentaries, yeah, of course you can't answer to every player individually.
Yeah.
Because it will take too many time and probably endless debates over some cards. And are there commentaries that come to you from staff too, or do they just leave that to you?
They leave me balance the mode as I want to and as I think I should. However, we work a lot together to create the new cards.
Yeah. Okay.
They have they make the briefs for the illustrators usually, so they know what a character should look like and what a character should represent for the clan. So I try to design the stats depending on that, and
Okay.
to have characters that are just coherent and that that are just well designed overall. So they have requests on that, but they don't check the ban lists, for example.
Okay. Yeah, they're creating the identity of cards and on the clans and let you
Yeah,
go
exactly.
into detail with
Exactly.
exact stats and powers and abilities on how it should be done.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it gives me a nice transition to go for for New Bloods, and maybe I will we will do one huge one large subject with New Bloods and creating abilities and bonuses and creation of new clans. So this must be the hugest impact, I think, in the game, because we have new bloods every 2 weeks, and there is 4 of them. And new clans, it's maybe once a year, I would say.
Yes, once a year usually.
Last years. And of course, the staff is behind all the creations of characters and on lore and metagame and etc. But
Yes.
what is your place in all of that, and how you can use, of course, and I guess you use New Bloods to balance Survivor, if a clan needs a good card in Survivor for EFC, if a clan needs something. So how does all of this goes?
So first, I need to say that New Blood creation has changed a lot over the years.
Okay.
A few years ago, it used to be very broken New Bloods, with every wave of New Bloods replacing the previous one, and it was like a never-ending power creep. So it was not very healthy as a system.
Yeah.
So today, instead of creating cards to replace the previous ones, we try to create cards that are good alternatives to what already exists, just to diversify the decks, but not to force the players to play them in order to stay relevant in the game modes. So this way we have less frustrations from the players, I think. And to compensate for that, we have the black missions and the black market to reward the players who bought the New Bloods.
Yeah,
so it's healthier this way.
You diverted the importance of the New Bloods on 2 ways. So you get New Bloods that are more meta, I would say. So it's not as strong as it used to be, and for the players who don't play that much and are mostly market players, they can still get rewards with these cards.
Exactly. And the players who don't want to change their decks, they can do it, because nowadays cards that were released 10, 15 years ago are still relevant in EFC. Yeah. You see a lot of Cubic, a lot of Tremor, a lot of cards like that
Llama
didn't change over the years. So this is important for us. But we also create big cards for Survivor. And when we need to create cards like that, usually I tell the staff which clans need this type of cards, and they go on a creating process to see which type of character should that be, and I come next to get to create a good stats and good everything. So everything that the clans need. So I'm really last in this process. Usually they send me the visuals, they send me the biographies of the characters, and I say, okay, what can I do with this? For example, I have a character related to another one, maybe I should put the same type of abilities, so it's and I try to do as much as I can to compensate the weaknesses of the clans. while still keeping the same identities.
Yeah.
And for example, for the Paradox clone, the staff needed a very crazy vibe and very aggressive vibe. So I was wondering what type of bonus I should do with that in mind. So yes, this is a process where I'm always talking with them to see would that fit with the design you ordered to the illustrator? Would that be okay? Would that be interesting? And this way, we get characters that are useful, but not too strong, and that stay coherent to what already exists.
Yeah, and you get cards that are unique every time, so it's
Yeah.
it's a nice thing to have in a trading card game to have
Yeah.
strong identities, but still a renewal of some kind.
And about the new types of abilities, I tried to see what could change the meta. For example, last year we had a meta really based on stop opponent ability everywhere.
Okay.
So only the stable cards could win. So I was asking myself, what should I do to change that maybe a bit? And that's how I checked Fantasy Rivals designs, card designs, the abilities, and they have abilities that affect both the player and the opponent.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good idea to put that into Urban Rivals because we already had that with Xantiax Rob. And
Yes,
so
yeah, of course.
why not do it with another type of abilities? So I try to develop on that and see what clans should need it. So for example, Jungo had Zip, for example.
Yeah.
So defeat cards, so
Defeat cards,
type of backlashes and cards that are really strong against stop opponent ability.
Yeah.
This way we can balance this a little bit more and have a new meta on this. So I think it was successful this way. And for the exclusive characters, the kind of big characters, we try to have different ability every time, or at least to create something new and really powerful to hype the players basically, and so they can try other things.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. Yeah, but now you're saying it. Oh, yeah, they all got different abilities and still are powerful in many ways. But yeah, of course. I just how many percent of the votes are bans and how many skip? Oh, I think you did you answer that?
No, I didn't. So usually in the votes you have 2 to 3 more times votes to ban, and so 75% of votes to ban and 25 to keep, usually. But it depends on the characters, of course, but usually you have more votes to ban because players vote out of frustration, maybe, or out of they just want not to see a card anymore, rather than voting to keep a card. It happens less often.
Yeah, it seems logical, but yeah, you could have some players that want to have a powerful deck and which is working, so they just vote to keep a card and
yeah, that's true.
Not being disturbed in their way to
exactly.
But yeah, it makes sense that most of the players are voting to ban a card because you can get pretty salted to to see a card every time. I know I'm not a big fan of Digicorps, so every time I watch this, but
I understand that.
Sometimes he disappears, sometimes he stays. Yeah. We deal with it. All right. So if you have any questions about the new bloods, the new clans, Is it important to have new bloods for second week of EFC, or it doesn't matter at all?
It doesn't matter much. It doesn't change the meta for the 2 last days. Usually, it doesn't change a lot because we don't introduce cards that are as broken as before. So it doesn't force player to buy them anyway. So we just did it because we don't want to. We just didn't want to cancel a new broad creation just to sync it with the first week of the season again. And as it didn't matter a lot, we just left it as it was. So it's not really that important for the meta, I think, and it's not really important for the money we get out of the new blood creation. So it doesn't matter much.
Okay, yeah, and anyway, if a really strong card get out of on a new blood day, is it? Yeah, I don't remember, but is Pandemos was Pandemos banned? So the first day on EFC.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
really strong cards that could actually influence the metagame are just
They could,
yeah.
and
Out,
that's why every time that happens, we ban them right away. So
Yeah.
nobody can play them, or maybe in one match before we ban them, but it happens just at their creation. It's the same for El Cascabel, for example,
Yeah.
or it was the same for Thibaut K and Gravel Snot. So
Yeah, really
Yeah.
strong cards that are more designed for hyping the players, as you said, or for survival. Really strong
Yeah.
cards that can
Yeah.
influence.
because, for example, Imira was allowed for 1 week, I think, and this was a huge mistake. So I'm making sure now this doesn't happen again, because it's really frustrating for the players.
Yeah, of course, if you get a huge card as that, and plus not every player can actually afford to have all the new bloods every week, every 2 weeks. So it
Yeah,
can
exactly.
be frustrating for these players to see a huge card unbalancing the metagame actually. For example, C Ortiz was authorized, but it didn't had too much of an impact, even if it looked pretty strong. Does it?
It looks pretty strong, and some players keep telling me to ban it, but for now, his win rate is really low. And the clone had a lot of nerfs recently, so I don't think that's necessary for now. We just watch it and see if it changes. But if the situation is the same as it is now, I think it will stay.
Yeah, because sometimes some cards can actually look really scaring, and in the end,
Exactly.
it's not.
And the opposite also happens sometimes. For example, you have the commentaries on Bruno said it was a very bad card, and it ended up being broken as hell.
Being banned
and the contrary
everywhere.
can happen when cards like C Ortiz are not as good as they appear.
The pure stats are looking quite scary if you look at it this way.
C Ortiz is still strong. I don't think it's broken because it's just like Dragon. I don't know how to say it in a.
Dragon?
It's just like Dragon, but it's good against stop opponent ability.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's exactly the same card with a slight backlash. So I don't think it's that's broken.
Yeah. Maybe you can use it's really situational on its use. If the meta is full of Geist and roots.
Exactly.
Alfie got a good question too. Is Zepara, so the top players statistics are aside of the rest, or do you just got the same statistics for everyone?
I have both. I have cards. I have stats for everything, for the Palace, for Polita Arena, for every zone. But I also have the overall stats, so I can check them more easily. But usually, when I check about a card to be banned, I check mostly Z Palace, of course, because I'm banning cards for the most the best players, basically. And also, sometimes clans like Vortex or Frozen or Freaks are played too much in the lowest zones, so it may be frustrating for the players. In this way, I also have to check the stats on the lowest zones, but usually I check mostly Z Palace.
Yeah, to prevent the too hard evolution if you start a bit late and you just keep getting confronted to clans a bit too strong for your playstyle. Yeah. Hello, Lostsphere. So yeah, new bloods creating bonuses. Maybe I don't know if you can say anything or if you know anything about that, but are there plans to introduce new abilities or new bonuses in the near future? Or if you
yes,
can,
yes,
if you can say
yes, there are plans to change the game deeply, very deeply, with the next clans that are about to come. For now, we are gonna continue to create cards with the new types of abilities we released last year, and cards that are like El Cascabel and Timbokei that can bring good synergy with the other cards of the respective clans. But yeah, next year is going to be big in terms of new abilities, and it's going to be game changing. Yeah.
And yeah, I had another question on this topic of abilities and bonuses. Mostly on abilities. Are there abilities that are no more used a lot these last months, years? Because that's the thing you see in every trading card game. Actually, abilities tend to disappear and be replaced by others. But in urban, I think yeah, even really old abilities are used still, like
Yes.
courage or reprisal. That are probably
yeah. I think everything is still playable. I'd say though that protection power abilities are really getting old, because nowadays you have cancel that is better, and you have exchange that can just completely overcome your protection. So protection is getting a bit old, but still with good stats, cards can stay strong with protection abilities. For example, you have Mr. Big Duke with team protection
the leader,
damages,
of course,
and it's a very good card. It's saw a lot of play recently in Survivor with Pandemos, which is really synergic with it. But
I like to play Marjorie too in 4 stars, or T-Gank is a good card too. Yeah, there are some. Actually, it's a power I like a lot. I tend to use it quite often.
I like this power a lot. In EFC it's still very relevant because the exchange cards are banned basically.
Yeah.
But in Survivor we don't see that a lot today.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But
because
in EFC everything that was old abilities, they still relevant. They still good even 15 years later.
Talking about that, maybe a quick thing. Maybe a way to renew this ability will be to to make it work with exchange actually, because you could just change the role saying it exchange those work fully with protection, because it could just transform it to a copy, which
Yes,
will be
that's
maybe
a
more,
very
which will make
that's
some
a
sense
very
actually.
good idea, because we thought a lot about it. I don't know why it was made this way. I think it's a bit weird and confusing, but because it was made this way, I don't feel really good about changing it 3 years later. Maybe it was 3 years. I don't think it would be a good idea to change it now, because players that are used to the way it worked previously may get even more confused now that we change it. So I don't think we'll do it, but it would have been better if it was just released like this, and I don't know why it was made this way.
Yeah, I can't tell you either, of course, but yeah, it will make more sense. I think I'm probably not the only to think like that, but instinctively when you play this, I think the 2 or 3 first times I didn't get that that my power was fully exchanged and not saved at all. That what you expect from a protection card. But yeah, it was just a quick aparté, like we say in English. So yeah, New Bloods. So yeah, big things coming. That's what we will keep in mind for the next year. And yeah, there is still a room to go with power, with new abilities, with new bonuses. I think it's what makes the game live too, creating some things, some new things.
Yeah.
I mean, I still remember
I just want
cards.
I just want to say though that we won't create cards with 10 damage or 10 power.
Okay.
We don't think this is the best idea to renew the game, clearly. Because already the 9 power cards are a bit too strong in EFC. They changed a lot of things, and maybe for the worst. So yeah, for Survivor it definitely was a good idea, but for EFC not that much. So we won't introduce 10 power characters.
Yeah, and Alfie got a point here, which is interesting.
Yes, the zero power damages is a thing we should do. Yeah, and we will probably do.
Okay. Yeah, well, with that was introduced with reductions. I guess maybe what was the first one? Maybe a paradox card.
It was the
8-3.
I think it was a crack, the first one.
Yeah, a crack. A newt, or maybe a newt. No, not Suko for sure. A newt is maybe.
I think it was a crack. For power anyway. A newt was the first for damages, I think.
Okay, crack raptors. This one. So that's thinking. Or do you have any other comment to do for New Bloods, for bonuses, or just tell me if you have questions. You can ask it too. And maybe one. What should we finish with? We didn't talk about top decks, but it's close to player commentaries. But it's I guess it's a thing you use to balance mainly in EFC. I guess too.
Yes, I checked the top decks a lot, and. You see the players never play the same decks twice in a row. Usually it's not the same deck which wins the season, but it's in the end it's not that important, because it's basically like stats, but only on one player. Where stats are much useful when they are for many players. So I check them, but not too much. I just when the top player plays a card which is too strong, that's definitely a sign that I should ban it. But otherwise, they usually tend to play anti-decks, anti-meta decks, rather than the best cards.
Right,
So,
just counter what's mostly played in EFC and go with that.
Yeah.
So it's just a method of confirmation or of already that of things you already have with statistics or with okay.
Exactly.
Which are the next events? It is effectively Alfie playing tomorrow in EFC, so you can see someone who knows how to play and not me. Probably will be better than my plays. So that's it for top decks, and a topic I think I love, but maybe it's not the case for everyone. But I think it's a huge part of the originality of this game is semi-evolutions, the possibility to play cards not fully evolved. And I think it's a really interesting tool to use for for originality, for to play around with cards and that's the thing you can of course change maybe more easily than the other things.
Yes, it's tool I can actually act on every time, because if a Suma Evo is too strong, I can remove it, I can nerf it now, so I can do everything with it. But I use it mostly for fan service, for nostalgia. It's not used to balance the clans. Mostly, it's used to renew things, to create more diversity, to bring old cards to light again. So yeah, it's very interesting, and it makes players happy, and it's a very good tool to use, because you see the older players happy to see a card again playable and very strong in the meta. So that's why I decided to put 4 new semi-evos every season. I don't know if that will last for a long time, but for now it's working, so I'm just going to continue it. Okay. And also we have Ultra Evolution, which is adding a new level to a character. This is something new we created 2 years ago, and it's mostly to use the illustration that weren't used before. We don't create new evolutions just to create new levels. It's just to use unused content and to create, for example, Benicio, which is really strong now and even banned from BFC, player ban at least. Benicio was really strong when he was released, and now he's strong again, so it's very cool to see characters being brought back to life and brought back to the meta.
Yeah, because I mean I played Benicio myself before, but I think I probably stopped using it not so long ago. But you didn't see any more him anymore. Maybe because he lacked one damage maybe to be really played. But with this new evolution, it's quite a strong card on protection, damage, and power too, that we were talking about earlier. And so you did that with Lindsay too, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
that was
Lindsay, so it's and Scar also. And Scar, I think this was the only one.
So it's just when cards have more material sleeping, and
Exactly.
you want
Yes.
to bring on for
But
the cards.
surprisingly, a lot of cards have unused illustrations. Some of them are not known but by anybody, so it's gonna be a surprise when they come out.
Yeah, I'll figure another question. What is the problem with 2 5 stars in one deck? I think in EFC, because it's not forbidden.
The problem is
every,
just that you can
format.
have a 17 star end on EFC when the opponent can have only a 8 star end or 9. So it's basically too much. With this rule, we can limit it. So instead of playing 2 5 stars, you can still play a lot of 4-star cards, but still this way the inequality between the two ends is reduced greatly.
Yeah.
And this is a rule that was working very well with the previous LO rules. So we reintroduced it because it worked and it was very pleasant for the players and more strategic this way.
For in my opinion, it's a really good thing that it was reintroduced. But on plus, in my opinion, again, I think it allows more 5 stars to be allowed in EFC, because you can just play one, so you have to choose, and maybe you got one strong card. You can choose one really strong card, because in general that's what you want to do. But you can't go with 2 and just destroy the matchup with 2 huge monsters in your hand that will just crush your opponent if he doesn't have any good response to it, any good answer.
Exactly. This is why, for example, 1 year ago, you had 3 very powerful 5-star cards in Raptors. You had Melty, you had Jet, and you had Akrak. The 3 of them were allowed at this time for a brief period of time, and this would have been hell if this rule didn't exist. Hopefully, this way they were much more easy to counter, because you can only play one, or you had to play a semi-Evo for Akrak, for example, which is not so strong. So this way it was more manageable for the players this time, even if we had to ban them anyway.
Yeah, just ask questions if you still got some. Wanted to talk also about special formats it's kind of a tool that you can use to create something fun. So I'm talking about thematic weeks or weekends on or even coliseums that can be fun to play too. So what's are you originating this kind of formats, or is this especially the staff that decide to go with we should have a coliseum, we should have a thematic weekend, we should have something?
Both can happen. I think sometimes they just want something to happen because they have a schedule, and for example, if there's a week with no really fun things for the player, they just tell me, why don't you put a Coliseum, why don't you put a Terminus, for example. And these special formats, they are really important for the players because they can gain a lot of things in a little time. They can experience new things that they didn't have with the ranked game mode. And this is very important to have these special game modes, just to have more diversity on the player experience. And for example, Coliseum is working really well. Terminus has still a lot of issues because it should have been more like Leader Wars, which is a which was a very good game mode, I think. But Terminus is going to be definitely better next year. We also have the return of Deathmatch, which is pleasing for a lot of nostalgia players, all the players who missed the mode when it was cancelled. And the thematic weeks, which happen less than before, because we see in the stats that less player plays when the thematics are released, because usually the format changes too much, and they can't really follow the news. So we tend to just have. That's why we created Black Missions, to have more challenges, and without changing the formats, because it's really confusing for the new players.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, to create something, but not changing too much the format. And, yeah, okay. Yeah, it makes sense actually.
Exactly.
To have if you just want to create some hype, you can do it without destroying format for even if it's just for 2 days. And I guess Coliseum is a perfect tool if you want to go with something creative and something really out of the range of.
We also sponsor events similarly to Coliseum. We also sponsor events. So when creative players create events like that, we are very happy to provide some more cards or crypto coins to add to the rewards. So it's very good to have an active community like this, because it's a real renewal for Urban Rivals, I think. There are more players now than 2 to 3 years ago, and maybe if we continue like this, it's going to be like a new golden age for the game.
Yeah,
because now everything looks very nice compared to before.
In terms of play, yes, of course, it's really nicer than it was. I can speak for myself again, but that it was 3 years ago when I came back in this game after a long break. And of course events. I could speak for hours about events, but I think it's it's probably where this game is at its most creativeness, if it's a word. Because you can play with every switch you got. So you can play with life points, you can play with spells, you can play with banning and allowing any card, anything, and it's really a fun place to be. If creating formats actually is really a cool thing to do for me, but for I guess for many other players, and adapt to formats is a nice thing to do too. Playing with a lot of I don't know how to say it, contraintes. I don't remember the word. Playing with a lot of bands or a lot of or at the contrary with a few cards allowed, with dumb things to do, like I like to do. But yeah, you can really. I mean, there are probably way more things to do with this game, with the way it was designed, than most of the trading card games that I know, and I know quite a lot actually. So you can trust me on this. If you play Magic, you can of course you can play with life points, with something like that, but or with number of cards in your deck, but that's pretty much all you can do. You can ban cards from some editions, from something, but you can't really reinvent the whole thing with some trading card games. And I think you pretty much can do something really different from what it is. If you just take Type 1 and Survivor, it's basically two different games to play. You don't play these games the same way, and you can of course change that a lot more with maybe just maybe a thing to do, but it's a big change. But just allowing 4 cards and really no random at all, no RNG at all in your deck creation can be
This
a thing
would be very interesting.
you can touch in events. Actually, you should just it will be a nice thing to be able to do. Not in of course in general mods on competitive mods. It's nice to have some random, but I think maybe a fun mod. That's what it is. Events are a fun mod that you can play with. Of course, you can just try to balance more the game, like rated formats. Try to do, or some other formats for WoP mainly. So try to have reduced number of cards that are not too strong, that are not too low too, but it's a never-ending balancing the format every time a card is out. And I think we're pretty much did talk about every aspect we wanted to play. But if you have something else to say, something, a special message, anything you want to
So
speak
I
about.
just want to say that if you have any idea on how to improve the game, and particularly the game modes, because that's what I'm working on, just message me. I'm available almost every time, and I read, even if I can't answer everyone, I read every one of you. So if you just have any suggestion, just do it. Because this game is very cooperative, and this is one of the greatest aspect of this game, and this is why we love it.
Yeah, it is open to the community to act on it for sure. Unlike some other games, but you get to maybe some of the other games are not working on the same scale too. So it of course it's probably harder to do if you have millions and millions of active players, or if you have just thousands. It's easier.
That's true.
And just maybe a more personal question. How much time do you spend working on Urban Rivals weekly?
A lot of time. I don't work only on Urban Rivals, but I work for it a lot of time.
Yeah, it's your main.
Sometimes even in the evenings and in the mornings, and but and that's because we're passionate about it and we like it a lot. So we don't really count the hours.
Yeah, it's your main activity. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So once again, I'm speaking for myself, but I think a lot of players would agree with me. But we can thank you for the good work you did these last years. Or how many?
Thanks.
How long does it? How long are you in the 3 years, maybe something like that?
Yeah, 2 years and a half, I think.
2.5. Okay. So yeah, thanks a lot for your work done and to come, and thanks for considering opinions of the players for all of that.
You're very welcome. That's a pleasure to work for it.
Does it pays good? Yeah, I am. You don't have to answer that. You absolutely don't have to answer.
A lot of credits.
A lot of credits. Yeah, in chips. Yeah, it's paid with food on credits. With nice cards. Okay. Well, I guess it's good. Of course, if you want to ask something to call, you can right now, or you can as he permitted you, you can ask him directly. But maybe he wouldn't answer because he doesn't have the time to answer to everybody. So yeah, thanks again for being there with me, because when I answered, when I asked you to be here, you were pretty available, and you answered quite quickly, and it was a yes directly. So thanks. And that was actually a subject that I wanted to talk about with you, because it's well, it interested me at least, and maybe some other people, because when you play a game for so long, you of course you try to you think about balance, about well, how it works, how it's done, how it's played, how it's everything. So yeah, it's of course nice to discuss it with the ones building the game daily.
Well, it was a pleasure.
Thanks for everyone for watching it. And I can release you. You can of course stay in the chat if you want to. I will, as every day, finish with a small giveaway, or not so small giveaway. I will see. And yeah, thanks again. And I will go with. I'm just laughing because Camille told me he almost lost against El Professor, because I said he never used more than 2 pills. Round 1, that is quite true. But I guess sometimes it changes that. Alright, so yeah, let's go for the giveaway of the day. I will launch my page. Where is it? It's there. I keep losing it. I should pin it. It will be easier. No, it's not that. Where is it? I lost it again. Right. Yeah, this is it. Stream giveaway tool for today. I didn't saw how many people are there. What it's like, about 15 maybe, something like that. Let's say about 10 is a good number. Let's say 10 winners for today, and let's say the message for today will be this one with the cold season, because it's every season in your Bond Rivals, and it's on. You can write in the chat cold season if you want to participate in the giveaway. If you don't want, of course, you don't have to write it. Okay, 1972. So I'll let you some time to do that. And we'll just quickly see if I missed some question on the wheel. You can you can go for your question on the wheel, Ilfredo, if you want to. Maybe I can say something if I know. If I don't know, I will tell you. And yeah, for the next things in the next days to come in this channel, you will see Alfie again tomorrow, but this time we will play EFC, and I will comment it with him and with Camille, who will be there too. For Friday, if it works, I will be with Sabader this time for the interview we scheduled on Tuesday, but we had to move it because Sabader was trapped by his work, so he couldn't do it. So normally Friday it's talking about building for daily tournament and about daily tournament in general. Saturday I don't know yet, but I will do something for sure. And on Sunday it's a quiz, but a little bit more difficult than the one of the last week, but yeah, nice prizes once again to win on this Sunday, so you can of course participate in that. And the next week will be released. You can still check on the event page. I'm of course keeping it refreshed quite often, and you can check it on my Twitch channel, because I'm filling the planning and try to keep it up to date too. I just want to win a Smoky MT, can't really play the clone without it. In the wheel, you say? I guess you probably can win if you have to wait a happy hour to win it in the wheel. Oh, if you want to win it in a giveaway, I'm not sure I got a Smoky, a spare Smoky to give, but you can win some other cards and sell it and buy your Smoky. Of course, it is still possible that you win a nice card. Pandemos, I already give away one on the last quiz, so it probably will come back on this week's quiz too. I can still give 2 Pandemos, so I probably will give one this week and one the other week on the quiz, so you would have to be there on Sunday, I'm afraid. And if you can't, it's of course bad for you, but you still can win cards the other days. I will maybe go with my headset again and quickly launch music again, so you can have something to hear when I'm not talking. Yeah, let's go with that, or maybe with the next one. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Alright, I think the participants for the giveaway are, of course, already wrote what they wanted. So let's go for today. We got 4 people, so I will send you all a card, or maybe 2 because you're not a lot. So I got the train. I know your name on your in-game name. I got GLD Nova. I know your name too. I got Ilfredo. You can write your in-game name to me in the chat, please, because I don't think I have it. And Tomansky too. I can use yours. Ilfredo with double space between 2 words. Okay. Double space, okay. So Il double space Fredo. And yeah, and Tomansky too, if you can give me your in-game name too. DI Tomansky. Okay. So I think I got everybody's what should I go? Yeah, let's do that. What's happened? I'm out minutes. What's happened? It's basically the end of the good interview, thanks to you, but thanks to Mr. Cold mostly. Do you want to participate on the giveaway of today, Dax? Because I had 10 cards, so I can give 2 to the 4 participants and with to you too, so you will be 5. Just tell me yes or no in the chat. It has been a good interview, yes. I think too that it was. It was quite interesting. About new blood cards, yeah, just tell me. It was a good thing to do, yeah. Yeah, it was one of the first thing I thought about when I decided to do 1 stream per day. Of course, I thought about playing. That's the most obvious thing to do if you want to stream a game. But yeah, I thought maybe it was interesting to ask some people on especially Cold what the plans, what is work and or how it does that. Why aren't you so active on Twitch? Why aren't I? I am active these days. Why aren't you so active? I'm not active because I work fully. And yeah, I am very active these days because I'm streaming every day until Christmas. So I will be there, and I am there, and I will be there a lot. And you didn't see me a lot in the past on Twitch because I was not on Twitch a lot. I probably twitched 3-4 times, maybe 5 times before this strike, this series. What is my job? I'm a bookseller. So yeah, that is my day job. I don't have a night job, so that is my job. Period. Yeah, I'm a bookseller. You missed the last thing. Yeah, no, we were just talking. That's all. Alright, so I will let you there for tomorrow. What do you think about Common Will? I think it's a good thing to do if you want to win money pretty fast, because you can't really lose anymore on with the wheel, because any common you get is worth about 20k, so you spin with 10k, so you really can't lose with the wheel. So just go for it. I mean, I spin the wheel. I spin the wheel daily because I want prizes to give to the players. Respin is just useless. Yeah, maybe it's not. I don't really. I mean, it's not the subject that matter much to me. Respin, I think the wheel is just yeah, it's there for the fun, and respin is not quite fun, but I don't pay much attention to the spin when I wheel it. So when to the wheel when I spin it, it's more in that order. So yeah, I don't pay much attention to that, but yeah, of course I'm spinning to have some prizes to give to players when I do streams, when I do events. So I don't have to ask for rewards every time. For yeah, only serves to waste time. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe the one who created the animation of the spin of the wheel wanted to go with. I mean, he spent time to do it, so maybe he thought, yeah, it's cool to see it spin once again. Let's spin it. Never-ending spin. Yeah, maybe it's that. I don't know. So yes, thanks again to you all for being here tomorrow on the other days, and I will see you tomorrow, no, today on the other day, and I will see you tomorrow if you're there and available for gameplay with Alfie. So have a nice evening, have a good night, and I will see you soon. Ciao. And of course I will let you with some music as always.